Whether you like to amble, ramble, hike, walk, whatever it is, if you like the outdoors, then Anne Black, who is the new president of Hike Ontario, perhaps has some things to share with you. Welcome, Anne. I'm glad you're here. Now, you're the new president. When did you become president of Hike Ontario?
Just this year would be at the annual general meeting in January of this year, which was held in Toronto.
You're becoming
made the president.
You're becoming very political, aren't you? In one way and another. Yes. You're an alderman. And
right, yes.
Is that your first foray into politics?
Yes, yes. I've been an alderman a year now, and I find it very challenging and a brand new career. So it's different.
And you are president of an organization called Hike Ontario. That has been in existence not quite as long as the Bruce Trail, has it?
No, it started off as called the Federation of Hiking Trails in Ontario, and there are a number of other hiking trails besides the big Bruce Trail, but there are 8 or 9 trails that belong to the Hike Ontario. So then when from the Federation of Hiking Trails, that became a sort of mouthful. It was called FOTA. So they changed its name to something called Hike Ontario, which really depicts what hiking is all about in Ontario.
It's so easy to remember, and I like that too.
Yeah. I'd have to say, first of all, that really the membership of Hike Ontario is drawn from these various clubs in Ontario. There's no sort of special membership or individual membership in Hike Ontario, but you'll find in all the member clubs that the majority is a European or British origin. And I think it's because it's a different way of life there. People are not ready to jump into a car at all times, and they enjoy the outdoors, and especially in a country like Germany where there's a great population and they seem to need their countryside, they need their mountains, and they need the exercise.
But because of that too, they're also set up for it, I found, much more than we are for doing things like walking, jogging, bicycling, hiking, aren't they?
Yes.
We're just starting to do what they've done for years and years.
Well, it's a natural way of life in Europe, whereas here it seems to be a little forced because you have to join a club in order to walk, whereas everybody walks in Europe. But I find now that the car syndrome has crept into the European capitals too.
And you grew up in Scotland?
Yes, I was born in Scotland.
And that was part of your cultural upbringing to walk a lot. But there was a part of that story that I thought was really interesting. You said that not everyone who did a lot of hiking in the early days was really interested in fresh air.
Well, fresh air and exercise, but there was, in Scotland, this would be in, I guess, the late 1940s, 1950, they had very difficult liquor laws, and the pubs in Scotland were closed on Sunday, the Sabbath, and it was inviolate. You know, you just nothing was open on a Sunday. But they had something called a bona fide traveller, and that meant that anybody who was actually traveling could get a drink in a hotel or a pub in Scotland. So a group, what a lot of us would do, we'd leave, say, from Edinburgh and walk over the Pentlands to a very favourite pub, and we'd sign the register as bona fide travellers, and that way we could have a beer or whatever and not break the law.
So it wasn't just recreation, it was...
Well, lots of recreation, but a different type.
Exactly. Now we have some beautiful shots of... Well, first of all, these boots are certainly made for walking, aren't they?
They certainly are. And I think just seeing that shot, you can see the energy and how Mr. Adams is enjoying himself.
Would that be a guidebook that he would be carrying
there? Yes, and by the look of it, it's the Bruce Trail guidebook.
Now he's backpacking. He also has a radio there because he happens to be interested in that. But would these be the usual pieces of equipment that a hiker would have?
Oh, well, it depends. If you're just going on a day, you'd have what would be a day pack, and you have your water and your lunch and insect repellent or first aid kit, whatever's needed. If you're going on an overnight, then perhaps you would have a heavier backpack.
I love
this
shot.
Now, this is beautiful, yes.
Now, we should say that not all hiking is done on roads. This happens to be.
Well, that is a section of the road, but as you can see, the countryside it passes, and I'm sure the trail is going to sneak into the woods there. That was a Bruce Trail marker that was shown there. And as much as possible, they try to get the trail off the roads into the countryside.
What is it that you get out of it personally? What's so good about it?
Well, first of all, the freedom, the feeling of freedom and being outdoors. I really do enjoy the outdoors. And then you're very close to nature. I love the water. I was brought up, I guess, by the ocean, and you can hear the birds, you can see the flowers, and there's a terrific camaraderie with other hikers. And although hikers are a bit of loners, when we get together on the trail, we can be loners together and enjoy each other's company.
And is it ever too late to start hiking? I mean, do you have people of all ages?
Oh, all ages, all ages. And in fact, many right up into their 80s are still hiking and enjoying it. And they're far more healthy and can probably walk far further than many of the youngsters. It's something that it doesn't matter what age, you can go at your own pace, pick your own trail. If you want to climb mountains, you can climb mountains. If you want to just enjoy nature, you can do that. People have to learn how to live in the outdoors, and they don't litter, and they don't let their dogs run and behave for, the good of everybody.
And this is a beautiful shot.
That, of course, is the Ontario's flower, the trillium, and very, very soon you'll find many, many hikes. In fact, they often call them trillium hikes. At this time of year, every trail that belongs to Hike Ontario will be having trillium hikes at this time of year.
So beautiful, and I love this one. I see lots of those.
I think he wants to join us. Yeah.
That is just
beautiful. A slow poke, but that's just a few of the things that you do see along the trail there.
This is the marker, the typical marker of Bruce Trail.
Yes, and on the white slash there on the right, that is what is called a blaze, and the trail is marked by a series of blazes, and that, of course, is the Bruce Trail identification mark.
Okay. And this is beautiful. You're not sure where that is.
Now, I'm not sure. It is a little dark, unfortunately, but that would be
certainly a swinging bridge.
Suspension bridge, and whoever's going over there is going over very carefully, and it would be, I think, quite
springy
if there were two or three on that together.
I wonder how deep that gorge is under there.
Well,
it doesn't really show, does it?
Yeah, and I'm sure maybe some of the viewers that are watching would be able to identify that.
Yes.
It's just a little bit dark. I couldn't do it myself. And there, of course, is my favorite water. I love, anywhere I go, I always love looking at water of any type, any sea.
And you've hiked all over. You've hiked in Europe. You've hiked all across Canada, into the States.
Yeah.
So Hike Ontario is a start for people.
That's right, yes.
And you don't have to have a car either, do you?
No, most places, most of the trails that belong to the hiking associations that belong to Hike Ontario have newsletters and the hiking program, and there's a meeting place, and you can all go together. Some have bus hikes, some have car hikes, and you'll find that if you don't have a car, you phone the, what would you call him, the hike leader, and he'll arrange transportation.
So basically all you need is the will to do it and a pair of boots.
Yes, and you don't even need a pair of boots if you want. Sneakers in the summer are quite acceptable, except if you don't want to get wet, but you don't need to go into the big, heavy, expensive boots unless you really get serious about it.
Well, Anne, thank you very much for being here and for sharing this experience, and I hope it's inspired a number of people to get up and get out.
Well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed it.
Great. My guest has been Anne Black, who is the president of Hike Ontario.